class. One will do circular motion in horizontal plane, and then we do circular motion in vertical plane. And you know, some of the things which are done before, laws of motion and work, power, energy related concept will come again here. So those things keep repeating. Okay, so let's start with the topic of circular motion now. Okay. So let's first understand, see previous case also, in case of rectilinear motion, the order in which we proceeded was kinematics. Based on kinematics, we understood dynamics, because whenever acceleration and force are related, and then we came to energy part. So here also circular motion, first we'll try to understand kinematics, which are motion parameters. And then once we understand acceleration, then we know the force also, net force will act in the direction of acceleration. It will move into A. So when we talk about motion, first thing, motion start with a reference point and position vector. And in case of unidirectional motion, we take x coordinate as position vector. In case of two-dimensional motion, xy coordinate. Circular motion also is, if we take in the plane of motion, is two-dimensional. But in case of circular motion, using a special property of circular motion, rather than using xy coordinate, here polar coordinates become more convenient. So when we define position of particle moving in a circular path of radius r, we define this position more in terms of polar coordinate, r being the radial distance from your origin, and theta also is measured with respect to a given direction. So here, what is the direction? We are measuring angle theta with respect to x-axis, and we are taking anti-clockwise as positive. So if angle is like this positive, angle like this is negative. So there's some sense of direction attached to theta. So this is rather than using xy coordinate, because this becomes more convenient, r remains same. So theta alone is enough to define its position. And whenever displacement takes place, when theta changes, actually, of course, the displacement is taking place. So what is this position? We can also call this position as angular position, unlike linear position. So there we had x here. So what is the corresponding term for x here, or analogous term? In place of x, here we have theta. So there are similar to, since x is related to theta here, what was velocity in case of rectilinear or 1D motion? Velocity was equal to dx by dt. So similar way also, and dx is displacement. Here also d theta is angular displacement in time dt. So this is something, the d theta by dt is called angular velocity. So corresponding to velocity term is angular velocity, which is d theta by dt. And we had acceleration in two forms, dv by dt into v dv by ds. So here also we have corresponding to acceleration term. Every term is prefixed by angular. Everything is given in form of angular. Angular acceleration is d omega by dt. And that is equal to omega d omega by d theta also. It can be written. D theta also nothing but displacement. Right. And whatever things we have parallel here, this parallel treatment continues even further. So in case of uniform circular motion, alpha angular acceleration is 0. It means object is moving in a constant angular velocity. So let's first try to understand uniform circular motion. And second thing is, we come across uniformly accelerated circular motion. What is uniform circular motion? Omega is constant, uniform velocity. And then in linear motion, we have understand difference between the two. There also we had uniform velocity and uniformly accelerated motion. So uniform velocity, v is constant. Uniformly accelerated motion, a is constant. So here also uniformly accelerated circular motion, alpha is constant. So there we had three equations for a to be constant. Here also we have three equations for alpha to be constant. So these three equations are valid for which case? Alpha is constant. And these three equations are equivalent of v is equal to u plus at. This is omega, this is initial angular velocity plus alpha t. This is again v square is equal to u square plus 2as. We notice here in place of displacement, we have angular displacement. Therefore, displacement was delta x, here is delta theta. And s is angular displacement, s is equal to ut plus 1 by 2, at square equivalent. So these are three equations for alpha being constant. If alpha is not constant, we need to use 4. So again, similar to linear motion, either it is uniformly accelerated motion. If it is uniformly accelerated circular motion, we can use any of the three equations. If it is not uniformly accelerated circular motion, you have to use this form. Okay, so some of the questions, simple application of these equation, kinematic equation. Okay, so let's understand here some kinematic circular. But if we take a very small time interval, let's say when the time interval is very small, the displacement also will be small. If the displacement is extremely small, this motion also, even though it moves on an arc of a circle, if the length of arc is too small, it is like a straight line. So when we take very small time interval, infinitely small time interval, it will have equivalent linear motion also. So there's a relationship between when for very small displacement. So here in time delta t, what is the linear displacement here? If I have to calculate from this point to this point, angle has changed by d theta. So of course, the linear displacement will equal to r into d theta. I hope you all understand. So this is how angular displacement is related to linear displacement. And if this has happened in small time dt here, so both sides, if I divide dt, I get a relationship between something. V is equal to r omega in the tangential direction. That's a relationship between what you call as when time interval is tending to zero, instantaneous value. So what is for a very brief instance, this also you can have a linear equivalent, and linear velocity v is equal to r into omega in the tangential direction. And we understand these 2 points also be along the tangent direction. So v is equal to r omega, you get a sense of how these two are related. And we differentiate again. Second thing, one more thing we notice in case of circular motion, not xy coordinate. Here also we deal with when is the point P. We deal with something like this is tangential direction and this is a radial direction. R cap indicates a unit vector in the radial direction. So when we talk about force and accelerations, we don't talk about xy coordinate. We'll always, moment you get terms of circular motion, you will start thinking of radial component and tangential component. And we see either sometime radial component and opposite of radial component, I will see we mark somewhere later also. Opposite of radial component is called centripetal component. Centripetal is directed towards the center, radial is directed away from the center. Of course, C cap is negative R cap. So these are things we'll keep in mind. So when we talk about motion, velocity and all, acceleration, we'll take tangential component and radial component. So in case of uniform circular motion, okay, what is the moment you get this one, again we differentiate. I will not go into derivation, but a small period, there's something about what is the acceleration here. Acceleration of uniform circular motion, even though the speed is not changing, direction is changing, hence there's acceleration here. And that's acceleration is called centripetal acceleration. We just see why it is called centripetal acceleration. It comes equal to minus v square by r, and its direction is which direction? Its direction is along radially outward direction. So I can write as v square by r or r omega square. It can also be written as r omega square c cap, centripetal direction. So radially outwards, but towards the center. So that's the acceleration for uniformly circular motion. So if object is going, see if I say object is like a fan is rotating, if I say omega is equal to 4 pi radian per second. Are you able to understand, are you able to get an intuitive sense of what is this 4 pi radian per second means? It means if 4 pi radian per second minute is rotating by angle of 4 pi, it is completing 2 circles in a second. So when we see omega, we should get a sense of what is the rate at which angular position is changing. So when if a fan is rotating, every point on the fan other than at the center, all points will have same value of omega, though may have different value of velocity. Velocity will depend on the distance. The one which is farther away from the center rotates faster. It moves faster, speed is higher. So uniform thus acceleration, and so this particle is going like this. When it comes here, the direction of acceleration like this. When it is here, this direction of acceleration will be like this. So if the direction of acceleration is like this, net force also should be in the same direction as the net acceleration. That's what centripetal means. Everywhere the direction of acceleration is towards center. If it is a uniform circular motion, and force also. Now, if we look from energy consideration, Okay, the uniform circular motion, it means omega is same with velocity is same. If the particle is moving, it means its kinetic energy is not changing. It's moving at a constant speed. It is something like this. If you are driving on a road at a constant speed and you just keep the speed same, if you are traveling on a big ground, just rotate your steering wheel to particular angle, it will go in a circular path at uniform speed. Kinetic energy is not changing. If kinetic energy does not change, what does it imply? Work done must be zero. Then only kinetic energy is not changing. If work done is zero, but there's an acceleration, so there's a net force, there's a displacement, but yet work done is zero. It clearly implies that force must be perpendicular to displacement at all instances. The force, since the displacement, instantaneous displacement is tangential, force must be in the radial direction. We can understand the force has to be radial direction from energy perspective. I hope this all you have understood. If it is uniform circular motion, speed is same. Speed is same, kinetic energy is not changing. But there is a force present because there is an acceleration, direction is changing. And if force is present, it means there has to be net force acting if it is going in circular motion. So there's a net force, there's a displacement, yet work done is zero. It implies the force must be perpendicular to instantaneous displacement at all instances. So which is the direction of force is acting? Always toward the center, centripetal force. So what we understood from here, and this is one of the important point what we need to always keep in mind while solving questions related to circular motion, the centripetal acceleration, it only changes direction. And the reason also simple from energy angle. So centripetal acceleration, so we'll come across two different components of acceleration. One is centripetal, one is tangential. And the key point or understanding of circular motion is a role of each of the two components of acceleration and hence the net acceleration. So centripetal acceleration only changes the direction. It does not change the magnitude. And if only centripetal acceleration is acting, it means it's a uniform circular motion, speed will not change, right? Now, accelerated circular motion. Accelerated circular motion, you can think of accelerated circular motion. Just imagine, see if you have a fan, on fan you put a, say near the tip somewhere, you put a black spot. Put the fan on. You observe the black spot, it will go in a circular motion. And if you put the fan on, it will get accelerated. After some time, it will keep moving in the constant angular velocity, uniform circular motion. When you put the switch off, it will deaccelerate. So deceleration. So in that case, there's a positive alpha, alpha is equal to zero, negative alpha. That's what we are going to understand here. When circular motion is accelerated, alpha is not equal to zero, but we'll have, initially we'll deal with uniformly accelerated motion. In case of uniformly accelerated motion, we'll take alpha as a constant. And then see if it is not constant, then we need to use a derivative form. Okay, so in case of this one here, we know already, so when we take tangential direction, so tangential direction AT, we are not going to prove here. What is tangential acceleration here? Tangential acceleration is equal to, see, acceleration actually equal to what? It's equal to dv by dt. But tangential acceleration is not dv by dt, because if we take vector component, it gives you both component of acceleration. So what is tangential acceleration? Tangential acceleration component only deals with change in velocity in the tangential direction. And tangential direction, if velocity changes, tangential direction, we are talking only about not the change in direction. We are talking only the change in magnitude. So tangential acceleration, you understand this expression. What does this expression indicate? This system is speed, instantaneous value. So rate of change of speed, we can write as dv by dt. There's no bar here. So this is something, is the rate of change of magnitude of speed is tangential acceleration. So tangential acceleration is the component which changes speed. If it is positive, if object is moving anti-clockwise direction, if it is positive, it will speed up. And when it is speed up, omega also will increase, and it is acting in the negative direction, it will slow down. So this expression, be very clear, AT is equal to this expression. This expression, rate of change of speed, is AT, tangential component. Now, so let's understand here. So there's a velocity here. Velocity is along the tangential direction. If angle between net acceleration, okay, if it is centripetal for uniform circular motion, so suppose here this particle, it is moving in which direction? It is moving in this direction. And if it is moving this direction, velocity is along the tangential direction. That's why I taken t. T is normally taken along the direction of velocity. So this is how the velocity is. And if angle, so acceleration is acting like this. If angle between them is acute, this angle between velocity and acceleration, if this angle is acute, what does it imply? I can take two components of this acceleration. Here we talk about centripetal component and tangential component. In that case, what will happen? Tangential component of acceleration would be along velocity, and velocity will increase. So then speed will increase. If the angle is obtuse, the speed will decrease. So whenever it is accelerated circular motion, angle between acceleration vector and instantaneous velocity vector is acute. 90-degree uniform circular motion, greater than 90-degree, it will decelerated circular motion. It will slow down. And what is AT equal to? AT is equal to R times alpha. Just imagine motion of a point on the blade of a fan soon after switching on, accelerated circular motion. After a while reaches constant speed, uniform circular motion. And soon after switching on, decelerated circular motion. And when it is slowing down, which direction will the acceleration act? So this is when it will speeding up. And when it is slowing down, this is the direction of velocity. The direction of acceleration may be something like this. And in this case, it will slow down because it will have component, tangential component will be opposite to the velocity. This term will be negative. dv by dt, as the time progresses, d will keep decreasing, negative value. So these are 2 points, important points here. Understand radial or basically centripetal and tangential part. So acceleration also has 2 components, and understand the meaning also. So centripetal component keeps changing direction and tangential component changes speed. That's what we understand here, right? So let's try and apply into us to a simple example. Okay, gramophone turntable is turned on. You would have seen a gramophone turntable, and anything you can think of, something which is a horizontal surface, and it rotates about a vertical axis. So this is something is lying in XY plane, and this is your vertical direction, z cap direction, and it is set into rotation. So gramophone turntable is turned on, and it starts with angular acceleration of pi by 4 radian per second square. So and small coin of mass 100 gram is placed at a distance of 10 centimeters. So this is a coin which is placed at a distance of 10 centimeter r. Okay, and from the axis of rotation. So let's understand here, if this happens, let's understand what will happen to motion as the time progresses. First of all, we must understand here, I hope most of you have a good intuitive understanding of linear acceleration. We have to have understanding of angular acceleration. If we say pi by 4 radian per second square, what does it mean? It means if every second angular velocity will increase by pi by 4, after 1 second it become pi by 4 radian per second, after 2 seconds it become pi by 2, after 3 seconds 3 pi by 4, and so on. This indicates rate at which angular velocity is changing, and you need to have a sense of angular velocity. As I said, if I say angular velocity is 8 pi radian per second, it is equivalent to, it is rotating 4 times, completing 4 rotations in a second. So you should have some sense of what does angular velocity implies. So what is angular speed after 1 second? It starts with angular velocity. Very simple, it is based on omega is equal to omega naught plus alpha t. So after 1 second, angular velocity will be equal to, we have used this equation using omega square root of alpha t. It will be pi by 4 radian per second. We multiply by time value, so the time part is gone. Okay, so let's continue here. So we'll continue. So whenever any part as it keeps moving, then the direction, centripetal direction, tangential direction also keep on changing. So when it comes to this point here, this is the direction. Let's understand here. Second part. What is the time it will take to complete 1/4 rotation? And when it completes 1/4 rotation, at that instance, what is the velocity, what is the acceleration, and what is the angle between velocity and acceleration of the coin at that instance? That's what we need to calculate. Actually, what are we dealing with? We are dealing with all the motion parameters starting from here. This is where it was at t is equal to 0. We are looking at, it has taken 1/4 rotation completed, means it has undergone an angular displacement of pi by 2. That's angular displacement. It has moved from here to here. So from starting from when it has reached here, at this point also, it will have some value of omega. Corresponding to omega, it will have velocity. It will have centripetal acceleration, tangential acceleration, and there'll be angle. Let's calculate all these terms here. Okay. So using d theta. So basically, we need to, okay. First, we are calculating how much time it will take to complete 1/4 of the rotation. So time we need to use an equation. Of course, alpha is constant. I can use those three equations. So here what is given? 1/4 rotation means delta theta is given and time has to be found. So which equation? I'll use this equation. Delta theta is angular displacement is equal to omega naught t 1 plus 1 by 2 alpha t square. This term was given as 0 because this is starting from 0. So delta theta is pi by 2, 1 by 2, alpha is pi by 4 into t square. I get t is equal to 2 seconds. Okay, so we get t is equal to 2 seconds. So from what time? It start from here. It reaches here at this point at t is equal to 2 seconds. So we understood first part. But when it reaches here, okay, so what will be the value of next part? What will be the velocity at this particular point? Of course, velocity will be in the tangential direction. Direction we know of this point. So it will have instantaneous velocity, which will keep changing direction. So we can only define instantaneous velocity. What is instantaneous velocity? R into omega. And omega at 2 seconds will be equal to pi by 2. Okay, so pi by 2 into r is okay 1 by 10. It becomes pi by 20 meter per second. So r is okay 1 by 10 and omega at 2 seconds will be equal to pi by 2. So it becomes pi by 20 meter per second. That will be angular velocity. That will be velocity of the coin which is placed at a distance r is equal to 0.1 from the center at time t is equal to 2 seconds. Now what else we need to find? Acceleration. Let's find acceleration also. How do you find acceleration? When we talk about acceleration, it will have two components. Which two components? Not xy component. We are concerned about what is the centripetal component and what is the tangential component. What a centripetal component depends on, we need to know either value of v or we need to value know omega. Any of the two is known, we can find out centripetal component, which is r omega square or v square by r. So we have already found v, we can find out centripetal component. And how do we find out tangential component of acceleration? What is tangential component equal to? Alpha. What is at equal to? At is equal to r alpha. So we can find both the components. We can find, yes, that's what we can do. So it will have centripetal component, it will have tangential component, and we can find the resultant. This is the direction of velocity. So once we find the resultant, we can find the angle between acceleration and velocity as well. So that is trying to understand the complete motion at different point of time. What is centripetal acceleration? I can write as r omega square. And so this is a term, r omega square. So this becomes pi square by 40. At will be equal to r alpha. R is equal to 0.1, alpha is pi by 4, it becomes pi by 40. So what will be the tangent of theta here? So tangent theta, again, if you those who are not clear, I will just draw this part here. This one part is AT is like this, and AC is like this. So resultant velocity will be something like this. Resultant acceleration is something like this. So what is the angle we need to find? We need to find angle between velocity and acceleration. Which direction velocity is in the tangential direction. So actually what I need to find tangent of this angle. Tangent of this angle will be equal to AC by AT. So tangent of angle will be AC by AT. If I divide AC by AT, so pi by 40, this becomes equal to what are we left with? We are left with pi. So does it mean the angle is pi? No, it means angle is tan inverse pi. So tan inverse 3.14. Tan inverse 3.14 will be what? It will be more than 60 degree also. It will be around some 70 degree or something. So that's what the angle between acceleration and velocity is. So this is, I hope this is basically simple application of kinematic equation. And I suggest all of you just go through once more. You just do it at maybe half a circle completed, one circle completed. See that you have all understood. So when have this case is uniformly accelerated motion, we can find out all motion parameters at different positions and different values of time. So here I have found all parameters of particular position. Similarly, you can find out for different value of time. So suppose I ask you, this is taken in 2 seconds, it has reached here. Okay, how much time it will take to complete one full circle? If 2 seconds it has completed 1/4 of a circle. How much time will it take to complete one full circle? It will take 4 seconds. Can you think of a reason why it will take twice the time? Very similar to the see what is happening when we talk about is tangential acceleration is r alpha, and this is constant. So as far as tangential motion is concerned, it is equivalent to just unfold the circular path. If you unfold, the circular path becomes a straight. So tangential motion is happening, only the direction has been curved, but it is moving at the constant speed. It is moving at the constant acceleration. So whatever distance it covers, it has covered 1/4 of the perimeter in 2 seconds. We know in case of any object starting from rest, moving at the uniform acceleration, when the time becomes double, the distance traveled becomes 4 times. So it will, if in 4 seconds, it will complete 4 times the distance. So we can think of tangential motion. We can also think of just unfolding and straightening the curved path. That's the tangential motion. And sometimes some questions might be helpful. Okay. Let's look at one more application of simple formula. A ceiling fan is rotating about its own axis with uniform angular velocity omega. And you say here, and electric current switches off due to constant opposing. So when electric current is switched off, so we're going to switch off the plug here. Speed will, angular speed will keep dropping, and we observe whatever initial it has become 2 omega by 3 after 30 rotations. What we need to calculate the number of rotation further it makes before coming to rest. Okay, what is given here? Constant torque, hence constant velocity. The moment we mention the word constant opposite torque, it means alpha is negative and constant. So alpha is constant. I can use those 3 standard equations. So let's apply those 3 equations. So there are 2 parts here. First part is I can choose this as initial state and this the final state. And the second part here is finally it comes to rest, means the omega has become 0. So I can next part, I can apply this equation between these 2 states. So that twice I need to apply appropriate equation, and that's all the question is solved. So it's a fairly simple one. First of the problem indirectly gives you value of alpha. How does it give you? So basically what is given, a number of rotations are given. I have to use an equation which has angular displacement and initial and final velocities, angular velocity. So I'll use this equation, omega square is equal to omega naught square plus 2 alpha into delta theta. So let's just put those values. I get the value of alpha. So first part gives you value of alpha, which comes to be negative. Now I apply this equation between this state and 0 state. So now for second part, I have to calculate angular displacement. This angular displacement will give you further angular displacement in radians. It will undergo when velocity drops from 2 omega by 3 to 0. So again, we calculate here, we calculate a number of angular displacement. If number of rotations are n, angular displacement is equal to 2 pi into n. So that's what he has substituted here. Second case angular displacement is 2 pi into n, and we substitute value of alpha, we get n is equal to 24. And this question also you could have done using graph as well. How do we do using graph? See, this is something, in BT graph is constant here. So here in place of this is, we could have plotted omega graph. How would, if I have T and omega, what will be the shape of this graph? Initially, this is value of omega. And since alpha is equal to d omega by dt, since alpha is constant, the slope also is constant. The slope will be equal to value of alpha, which is negative. What is given here? So if I take when this drops to 2/3 the value, 2/3 the value, something here. So when by the time it has come here, 2/3 the value. And what would be the area under this curve be equal to? What is this area? Can someone tell what is this area be equal to? RH, what is this area equal to? Area under OT, omega and T curve. Okay. Dhanshri, what is this area under this curve?